stimulus strategy that will invest €13 billion into jobs creation and retention and create an average of 156,000 short and long-term jobs. That's been a mantra of Sinn Féin that you cannot cut your way out of recession. The money is there to do what we are proposing in the National Pension Reserve Fund, in the European Pension Bank, the private pension sector, and in the money the government plans to cut from its capital budget spend. It's not rocket science, it is a matter of choice. The scandal is that this government will continue to fritter away money in the National Pension Reserve Fund. It will continue to put money into toxic banks, pay off unguaranteed bondholders, while older citizens lose home care supports, and there's one reduction after another in wages, support for lone parents, carers, citizens with disabilities, the blind and the unemployed. Fine Gael and Labour have no strategic vision of how to invest the money in a way that will help the economy in the long term. Sinn Féin does have that vision, and we have a strategy to realise it.
I think it's important at the start here that we understand the context that we're in currently. Over the last 4 years, this state has lost more jobs per capita than any other Western state since the Great Depression. It has also seen 87,000 people emigrate last year. Now, that's the highest figure, amazingly, since the 1800s, and is significantly higher than the proportion of people who did the Leave Cert last year. The policies that this government has got involved in has actually prolonged, deepened the recession, and we have a situation where private investment has taken €30 billion out of the economy in the last 4 years, and the state has withdrawn €24 billion. So that shows a massive investment vacuum that is occurring in this state.
The programme that Sinn Féin is outlining today in terms of economic recovery isn't just about the creation of jobs, it's also about the creation of growth in the Irish economy. We've looked at two different models, the Neary model and the Benedict's Lane model, and we've actually looked at the investment, the €13 billion investment over 4 years, and what impact that would have, as Peadar said, in relation to the deficit. And you will see that using an investment, because investment can be used to reduce the deficit, and you will see using either of the models, if you look at the more conservative Benedict's Lane model, that in 2016, using investment on top of the government's consolidation programme, you would actually return to a surplus in 2016, where the government still projects a 2.2% deficit. So this does not only create the type of jobs that we've outlined, it not only provides the social good in terms of building up the capacity of the economy, but it also has an impact of reducing the deficit through a number of measures, through growing the economy in terms of growing the GDP volume, but also increasing the taxation. And we've used the most conservative government estimates. For example, we haven't used the sensitivity model that they use at 0.5%. We've used the revenue model, which is a lower base. So all of our assumptions and costings are based on the most conservative assumptions by the government.
But we do actually want the government, society, the media to focus on the fact that this stimulus plan in and of itself needs to be examined, and the reality of that shock factor in a positive sense within the economy to get the wheel turning again and get people back to work is absolutely necessary. And the figures are there. If you're asking the question, how is this being paid for, it's set out black on white. And guess what? Unlike the government, the monies we identify are there. They're there in hard cash terms. We're not being notional about it or projecting. We're saying this is where the funds are coming from and this is where you can access them.
I see Mary Lou as well. You have 50 primary care centres in there, but I don't see the criteria published.
Very good, Michael.
Well, just before we finish, we've sent this to the Taoiseach. We've sent this document to the Taoiseach. We've sent it to Richard Bruton. We have consulted with the European Investment bank, we've consulted with people in the private pension and industry. We've done a fairly wide consultation. And look, what we're trying to argue and what we're trying to prove is that there's another way, that there's a better way of dealing with these issues, and it's based upon that core cornerstone position that you can't cut your way out of recession. So if you can't cut your way out of recession, then you have to grow your way out of recession. If you want to grow your way out of recession, then here are good ideas for doing exactly that. So we would commend that to you. And this isn't just a launch, you know, that we do this and it gets a minute on the news. We're going to return to this again and again and again in the time ahead, because we believe unless measures like this, stimulus, are brought forward, then the situation is going to continue to deteriorate and working people are going to suffer as a result. So thanks everyone. Go on, Margaret.